Welcome to the Class Business Podcast. I'm Chrissy Monaghan, your host, and today we are joined by Rose, the founder of Inspires Tuition and a judge for the Class Business Awards. Inspires Tuition is an alternative education provider supporting children and young people who struggle with mainstream settings, helping them rebuild confidence, re-engage with learning, and finding a pathway that works for them. Rose and her team take a trauma-informed, child-centered approach, putting well-being and relationship at the heart of everything they do. I'm really looking forward to this conversation, so let's dive in. Rose, it's absolutely amazing to have you here with us today. For everyone that's watching on YouTube or listening in, can you tell everyone who you are, what do you do, and where do you do it?
I am Rose Carter. I'm the founder and CEO of Inspires Tuition and Inspires Community Provision. We work with children and young people from disadvantaged backgrounds who are often quite vulnerable and also are neurodivergent, whether they're diagnosed or not. And we help them be the best that we can be. That's for Inspires Tuition. Inspires Community Provision. I've opened the only fully inclusive after-school tuition club in Oxfordshire, and it means that all are welcome and there are no prerequisites, and it just helps children be the best that they can be, whether they're 5 or whether they're 15, doesn't matter to us.
So tell me about when did you start the business? How long have you been doing this, and what did you do beforehand?
So I have had quite a very interesting life, and so I came into teaching quite late. I did my undergraduate degree. My daughter was 2 when I started that, and I fell pregnant with my son in the first year of my undergraduate degree. And I kind of knew that I was quite good at teaching because I ended up teaching a lot of the people during my undergraduate degree, which was odd. But and then I had to make a decision whether I wanted to go secondary or primary, and I chose to be primary. After 8 years of doing that, I realised that there were these children that they were just being missed in the system. And it was awful, and I felt I couldn't help them as much as I wanted to. So Inspires was born. That was 12 years ago now. So Inspires was born. It was just me on my own, pootling around, helping as many children as I could. And then a few years ago, demand outstripped me. So I had to expand and grow the business because the more children that there were, I couldn't help them all, so I had to train people to do it, and that's where it began effectively. The community provision's only been going for about a year. It's actually only been a registered CIC since January, which has been a whole new interesting ballgame. So it's just, my ethos is just trying to provide the care and support to these children and their families as much as possible. So, yeah, that's how it all began. I didn't really work through COVID because I was still on my own then and couldn't go into schools or children's homes because I wasn't a tradesman effectively. So then I worked at Sainsbury's stacking shelves because I had to keep food on the table for my own children because that's the way it was. And I wasn't sure about going online. I wasn't confident. And then subsequently to that, I rebranded and rebuilt the business and thought very carefully about what I could do and where I want to go and who I want to help. And I had this kind of vision after that. And it kind of coincided with my dad passing away. And I thought, what shall I do? And then I thought, do you know what? That's what I'm going to do. It's a bit of an epiphany moment towards the end of COVID. So I thought that's what I did. And I just went with it. And I've learned a lot along the way. And it's been a roller coaster. And now I travel internationally speaking about what I do. And also I still teach because I wouldn't expect my tutors to do anything that I couldn't do myself. And I still take on the most complex cases myself because they are tough.
Wow, what a story. Did you initially quit? Did you leave teaching completely and took the leap to work for yourself, or was there like a transition period?
Nope. I was tutoring a few children alongside, and I just thought, you know what? if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly. So I leapt into the unknown and did what I had to do. And my name was already kind of out there because I'd been doing it for a few years. And I thought, I can't work within, particularly for the head teacher that was there at that school at the time. And I thought, this is a representation of the head teachers, and I really don't want to go back into school. And I always had it in me that maybe I would, but actually, as it transpired, I became very busy very quickly.
And so I just need to dive into that a bit more. So what were parents coming to you with? What help were they needing?
So they were saying, my child doesn't, even back then, my child doesn't want to attend school. My child needs extra help. They're really, really behind. They're really behind. And they don't want to attend school, and they're really anxious and upset. And whether they've got autism or ADHD or not, that's kind of what happened. My name got about that I was really, really good helping young people with their emotional or mental health. And it didn't matter it still doesn't matter whether they have a diagnosis or not. But it used to be called EBD, which is emotional and behavioural difficulties. And that is not something that I initially specialised in. I was just a regular primary teacher. But as time, I got more and more training, and I became more interested in it. And then, I got the qualifications along with the experience at the same time. It's kind of quite an interesting thing. And the more I did it with the children and young people, the more that I knew I was good at it, and then it just kind of snowballed. So it just word gets around in the community. Oh well, I know a tutor. I know someone who's really, really good at teaching, but also does it the way that the children need it for whatever way they need it. Do you see what I mean? So it's bespoke. Everything is completely bespoke to the young people we teach.
And is it in person? Do you go to their house, or is it you have to go to school settings, or how does that part work?
Either. It's honestly wherever the children need us. So schools get us on board to teach some in school, in small groups or singly, if they've tried all of the other interventions, and basically before they get excluded, we are the last chance saloon. We go for those children, young people that can't come into school for whatever reason, we go to the children's homes. If they are under child protection or looked after children, sometimes we go to social services hubs. I've got a new base that's just opened in an area of deprivation in Oxfordshire. So it's literally wherever the child feels happy, safe and secure. It is quite often the case that we meet them at home and we manage to transition them back into school, just on a part-time basis, and get them feeling confident and happy and safe and secure, because that's what it's all about. It's about children feeling happy, safe and secure. Children can't learn unless they feel happy, safe and secure. And we just help them feel that way and say that I can. So we teach them the resilience to say, you can do it. You're okay. I know that you're not feeling well at the moment, and that's okay too. Let me help you. Let us care for you and put some stuff together. And we teach them the strategies to be able to cope in a lot of respects. So, and that can be, they can have adverse childhood experiences, so we help with that. It can be that they're going through a very traumatic time because of something that's happened in the family at the time, such as a bereavement. It can be because of their diagnosis, and they're trying to come to terms with that and trying to work out strategies how to work in their own mind. It doesn't matter really, just as long as when they leave us, they say thank you and goodbye, and maybe I won't see you again, and that means my job's done.
That's amazing. And do you see a lot of children? Obviously, you talked about their confidence and building their confidence up. And obviously the results you've seen children like thrive in school. With the strategies that you've taught them.
Yes. Well, I mean, they probably, a lot of them will still have difficulty in some respects, and maybe they'll need to be in smaller class sizes or carry on in the intervention groups. But actually, in real terms, I've had a student from years ago when I was just on my own, and she just needed a boost. She was unwell when she was about 14, and she needed a bit of a boost. And I did chemistry with her, actually. And she's now gone on to be a doctor. She's training to be a GP now.
That's amazing.
So and it doesn't. But as I said, it doesn't matter whether I had a girl that wanted to be a bricklayer. That was okay. That's what she wanted. So it's just giving them the skills to be able to do that.
I love that. I love that. No. And so obviously you started on your own, and then you were, I assume that you, like you said, you were very, very busy, probably fully booked with all your time. And you talked about earlier that demand sort of outstripped like you, because the demand was so high. What triggered the demand to be so high? Like, what happened? Was it COVID that made that more aware, or what was it?
Yeah. I mean, people had heard about what I did in Oxfordshire before COVID, because it was before COVID. And then when COVID hit, as I said, I worked in Sainsbury's. I didn't feel comfortable doing what I did to unknown children online. It felt kind of quite alien to me because I'm very relational based. And so people said, oh, we should go and teach online. But actually, I didn't feel comfortable with that. So I thought, well, what can I do? So my strategy was afterwards, okay, well, I didn't really need it, to be honest, because people would just contact me saying, oh, I've heard of you from this person. I've heard of you from this person. I've heard of you from this person. And, COVID has been really hard for us. And then there were these huge amounts of children and young people that were really damaged. Really, really damaged, because I've always tried to explain it for children in poverty. COVID was especially difficult, and that's predominantly who we work with. So if you came from a regular middle class household and you had your parents there and you had an internet connection and a laptop, you had your own bedroom, COVID was not enjoyable, but you could kind of cope. But particularly if you were in an area of deprivation, you living in a third floor flat with your two siblings in your same bedroom, and you were the only one that was looking after them because mum had to go out to work and you weren't able to see your friends, that had a huge impact. So I'm not saying it didn't impact all children, because it did, but I've noticed through my work that those children particularly are the ones that we've seen ever since, that we've been referred to, particularly by schools, because their mental health has declined so rapidly because they couldn't communicate with anybody from the outside world. And it was really, really sad. And that's now people say, oh, wow, there's been more of a diagnosis of this, that, and the other. Actually, it's not. There's more research been given, firstly. But secondly, the anxiety and mental health levels that were caused because of that have been astronomical. And so that predominantly is actually who we work with the most.
Wow, that is really sad to hear, but great that you are helping those children and young people. So you made a decision that you needed to grow the business. So I assume you had to find more people like you to teach, so you could teach them your methods. So just walk people through that, because I know lots of people who are like solopreneurs who are then like trying to figure out growth and, do I employ a team? Do I franchise? Do I license? Like, what do I do?
Yeah, I mean, I just initially, I think I put out an Indeed ad, and I realised that wasn't great, really. And I managed to find my amazing deputy Lily, thank goodness, through Indeed. But because I'm so incredibly hands-on in the business still. I haven't got a team that interview for me because basically I need someone that I can get on well with and trust and really trust, because it's these children's lives you've got in your hands. And if you get it wrong, you can screw them up. So I still handpick every single one of my tutors, and I have I read through all their information. Obviously, if you get, so word of mouth is quite a good thing. People now come to me and say, if you need anyone to work for you, which is quite nice. And so I advertise occasionally. I put stuff up on LinkedIn. And I choose my tutors incredibly carefully. That's the only way I can say, really. It's not obviously the safeguarding and compliance, but also they have to be the right person for the job, because it can't be just a case of, okay, you've got a BEd or a PGCE. It can't be that, because if they haven't got the right personality to be able to work with some very damaged children, then it's never going to work.
Do you teach them your framework? Is that what you have in place, like your methods and stuff?
Yeah. So the Inspires framework is an umbrella that I did many years ago, and it's got care and resilience sort of at the core of it. Really, it's an umbrella, and it's got care running along the handle going right up, and actually care is the most important thing for us. We genuinely care about our students and the families. So for example, if there's a family that hasn't got any food and the children need clothes, I will have head teachers phoning me. They're not even our students. I will have head teachers phoning me saying, Rose, this family need a food parcel. Mum's poorly, XYZ. Do you think you can get in contact with your contact and get one delivered? But we also do that. So my tutors who are on the ground know the families very well, and they will also know that the trust is there with the family to say, do you know, we're really struggling this week. So we try and provide that as well.
Wow. Some amazing work that you guys are doing. And you talk about working with schools and head teachers, and is it local authorities and that you work with as well, and other partners?
Yeah.
How did all that?
Yeah. So I initially got a phone call from the head of inclusion for a multi-academy trust. And my name had got there somehow. Don't quite know how. And they said, we've got this particular student. You have taught him before many years ago. I said, okay, who is it? I said, yes, I know that one. And Mum has said, you worked wonders with him. He's in school now. Or he might have just been expelled from another school at that point. I can't remember. It's a long time ago. And do you think you could do some work with him and try? That's right. Think you could do some work with him and try and get him back into school? And I did. And that's where it began, in schools. So, and then it's just exponentially one school from that trust, and then another school from that trust, and then a head teacher spoken to another head teacher, and then that's how it's gone. The local authority, we've been having referrals from the local authority for quite a while, but we've only just managed to actually become an approved provider.
Yeah,
because the system is all very strange. But yeah, so going through the rigmarole of becoming on the approved provider list is incredibly difficult. So yeah, I'm doing a training course about that in a couple of weeks.
So you're based in Oxfordshire. Is it just the Oxfordshire County, or do you go wider?
We go slightly wider because some of our schools are in sort of Berkshire, Swindon. Berkshire, Wiltshire way. I have been approached by a head in Berkshire, as well, about doing a couple of schools there. So it's expanding, but I try and keep it quite a slow, because what I don't want to do is make promises to people that I can't keep. So I need to make sure all the time that I'm matching the right person to the right child and making sure that it's a good fit. And that's quite important to me, that I've read through the paperwork, I've spoken to the parents, I've spoken to the school and the local authority if need be, and then I work out who needs to go with who. So it really is bespoke. It's not just a case of them phoning up and saying we need a tutor.
And then the CIC, so let's just touch on that, because I know lots of business owners either are CICs or are considering being a CIC. I would expect it so they can apply for funding and get the much needed funding they need so they can deliver their services. What's your, you said you've been going for a year as a CIC?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've only just registered as a CIC, but actually I trialled it through Inspire's tuition first. So Inspire's tuition took the hit financially for it. I had to make decisions. I didn't feel comfortable charging parents. I'm happy saying, please give a voluntary contribution, but I didn't feel happy charging parents, particularly in this area, which is an area of deprivation, for the tuition for their children after school. It didn't sit right with me at all. And because parents from round here, from where I live and from where I teach at the local school still myself, I know how hard it is, for particularly being a parent with children with additional needs, because I'm that too. And all children deserve an education. It shouldn't ever be relevant to money. So anyway, so that was my thing about transferring over to a CIC. I couldn't become Ofsted registered because I wasn't an after-school care club. I wasn't an after-school club. I was tuition. So then I thought, well, what else can I do? Because then if I'd have been Ofsted registered, they could have got the money back as care through universal credit. So I thought about everything. And I was like, no, that's it. I'm becoming a CIC. So I have managed to get sources of funding. It's incredibly difficult out there to get sources of funding. And I've fought quite hard to get some funding for the CIC moving forward. So we're secure in premises and staffing and things for the next year. But after that, it's quite difficult. But Inspire's tuition itself is doing really well. So if needs be, I can put some money in the pot.
No, I get that, because I used to be a director of a charity in London, and you have to apply for funding applications. And I do see, I think lots of people are choosing the CIC route, and then obviously there's just a lot of people all applying for the same funds, isn't it? So then they've got to choose what's going to have the most benefit in terms of what they're trying to hit with their goals and stuff. But I completely get what you're saying. Yeah. That does sound like it's an area of need. There's an area of deprivation. These children are needy. You don't really, like you say, you don't want to charge for the tuition if they should be able to access it through, they should be able to access it in total, full stop. So it's really cool you're doing that. I know lots of providers will be interested to meet you when we have the Class Business Awards on the 10th of October, because I know lots of people have explored it or have set up CICs. So you're a judge for us in the Class Business Awards. What are you excited about? Yeah, what are you excited about seeing in the application forms? Like, what are you looking for when you're going to be reading these applications?
I think it's something for me. It's something not just I'm here to make money. My thing is when I'm reading things, I want to make a difference. What are you bringing as a provider, as a business? What are you doing to help those children and young people? Because that's at the centre of me. That's what I think we should all be doing. So it's not necessarily for me just about the grades. What are you doing alongside that to make them be the best they can be? And I think and reading through and working out people's integrity in a way. That's quite a high bar, isn't it?
I know, I like that. Well, that's what the awards are all about. It's about showing the impact that people are having at a local level every single day. And what I loved about you know, when we were chatting earlier, saying you help one person make a decision to go to be a doctor and then another person to be a bricklayer. And I think that's so important that children get the opportunity to choose what they want to do, like, and where they want to train, because now everything is so wide open with AI that the advantage is there now. Like, basically, we can get ahead if we want to. And then the other side of it is the traditional plumbers, bricklayers, tradespeople are the ones that are going to be in desperate need in the future, because those skills will be highly sought after. So I think it's just great.
They are already.
Yes,
they are already highly sought after. You know, I should say that my tutors, you know, we work with students, so we do the AQA award schemes, because we know that some young people just aren't academics. They don't want to do the writing and the GCSEs, and that's okay. So we offer functional skills in the AQA awards.
I love it.
And that's okay.
And it is okay, because not every, like you said, like they try to put every kid through like a sausage machine, regardless of like what type of sausage they are. It's like we all go through it.
And everybody's different, aren't they? And everybody's got strengths and weaknesses. So part of what we do is to try and find those young people's strengths and build on those. So if they want to become a carpenter, then we will help them get some qualifications to do that and find their path to go to college to do that. If they want to be a neurosurgeon, I know that they'll have to do sciences, you know. So I help them explore. We help them explore, you know, when they're little. It might very well just be a case of teaching them some strategies to be able to manage their own emotions. You know, it just very much depends on the child or young person and what they want, and actually what the family wants as well does come into it, you know. And I've had to have some, you know, some more difficult conversations with families regarding attainment and things, and, you know, and sometimes children at that point can't get the grades their parents necessarily want them to get. We can help them get there eventually, but what we don't do is we don't push children to be uncomfortable and to cause anxiety. That's what we don't do. We don't cause anxiety, we help anxiety. So if that means me having to have a very difficult, and it is always me, by the way, my tutors bounce that off to me. It is always me. I had to have those difficult conversations with parents saying, actually, they're not ready just at the moment. That's not to say they won't be ready in a year, but just at the moment, they're not quite ready. And that's okay, because actually, in real terms, the parents do appreciate that. They appreciate the honesty.
I can imagine, like, at the end of the day, yeah, like you said, expectations of a parent to the child are different. And I do feel like as parents, so, I mean, I'm a different type of parent, because I see my child, I skill stack them. So I'm not pushing them through education system. I'm more about life experiences, learn skills, learn all of that, and then and play on your strengths. Like, you're good at this, you're good at this, you're good at this. And then we funnel down that way. But I can imagine, there's some parents, I do know some that are like, no, they are going to do this, this, and this. And you're like, oh, okay, that's just, I think, having that understanding, and sometimes you need someone to say, actually, listen, they're not ready. Like, they're not ready for that. And it's good that there's people out there like you doing that, because there wasn't in my day. I know that for sure.
No. Well, you know, a lot of the way that, you know, I train my staff and the way the approach is based on me, because I'm neurodivergent, and I don't actually ever want a child or a young person to feel the way that I felt, because I did feel awful. You know, I came out of school with not really many GCSEs of any description, and I had to resit when I was 19, and that's because I was tried to be moulded into a system that never fitted. So it didn't fit me, the way my brain works. And even now, I think completely differently to everybody else. So I think I will say to the young people, it's okay to be different. It's okay to think differently. You know, that is perfectly okay. We'll just find a way, if you think differently, to make it work for you. And that's okay.
For sure. Oh, Rose, thank you so much for joining us today and telling us about what you do. It's absolutely amazing. You actually need to enter the awards. Like I'm going to say, you as a business, you need to enter. It's a great opportunity, obviously, to get the visibility. But if there's providers out there who are going to listen to this interview right now, who are sitting on the fence thinking, oh, I don't know if to enter, I don't know if these awards for me, what would you say to them?
Please do enter, because I want to see what you're all about. I want to see what you're doing for these children and young people. And I want to celebrate. I want to celebrate the diversity of class businesses out there. I want to celebrate and see and meet lots of people. I like meeting lots of new people. Although, because my neurodivergent, it takes me 2 days to recover afterwards. But I want to meet new people, and I want to see what's out there and how the landscape is changing and how many children are being helped, and to celebrate the amazing things that we're all doing, because the landscape is changing. It really is changing, and there are some amazing people doing amazing things, and I really want to be part and will be part of celebrating that for you, you know. So expect, if you do win from me, expect a hug, because, you know, that's just the way I am. Sorry.
Well, I'm sure everyone will love to meet you at the event in October. You have so much knowledge and information that I know is very valuable to the people that are listening, my followers. Where can people find you? Where's the best place for them to come and connect with you?
So I would say pop me an email at rose@inspirestuition.co.uk, or you can look on my website, which is www.inspirestuition.uk, or Inspires Tuition on Facebook, Instagram, and I have things, you know, popping up all over the place. I'm just Rose Carter on LinkedIn, although Inspires has got one, but I'm really bad at looking at that one. So Rose Carter's the one that most people get me on.
We'll pop in the links for everyone so they can come and connect with you afterwards. But thank you so much for your time today. It's been amazing, and I can't wait to meet you in person later this year.
You too. Thanks very much.